Hello, this is Compound Interest Stock Guide, and today in this video I'm just kind of gonna recap some of the things I used to talk about when my channel was a lot smaller. Things such as CGC, Afria, as well as my predictions for gold was starting to look bullish for 2019, things of that nature. So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, please hit the bell down below, subscribe. I appreciate it. I'm trying to grow this channel. I'd love to have you along for this ride that I'm on. I also want to disclose I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment information purposes. Do not buy or sell based on anything I've talked about in this video. So yeah, I'm just driving to Edmonton. Man, before I get into this video, I just want to say though, Alberta is way better for gas. Okay, I just filled up about 75 to 80% of my car for around 40 Canadian. That's around 30 US dollars. And when I used to fill up my car in BC, it was like 65 to 70 dollars Canadian, or like 50 to 55 USD. So yeah, a lot different. Okay, so let's do the gold first. So I had a video back before 2019 where I talk about gold. It was gonna looking bullish and all that, and this year's been really good for gold. So it's pretty cool. I was doing that video a long time ago. So yeah, it's just things that appreciate in value. Not everything that I talk about is gonna appreciate in value and it's gonna go up, but that's why you have to do your own research and your due diligence. And there's things such as doing like stop losses and getting out of a position if it's not working in your favor, things of that. But I know the gold miners have done extremely well. If you would have bought into like Kirkland Lake or Wheaton Precious Metal, even Fortuna Silver, I have my 4 calls. I made some money on those, but I made money on Wheaton Precious Metals so far this year on some calls. But now that the market's kind of getting, because now they just want to pump up the stock market. So when the stock market wants to go up, then that's not so good usually for gold. So it usually competes for liquidity and money. So, and then I have a video about uranium, and uranium hasn't taken shape. I talk about is uranium going to be very bullish in 2019, and so far it hasn't happened, right? Look, I have no control over how these prices go. I can just look at the charts and realize it's at a 10, 15, 20 year low, and that I'm starting to get really bullish for uranium because it's starting to curl up, and that's what I see. Again, I like Kamenko for uranium play, and I think one of these days the uranium prices are going to start going up a lot. But when that day happens, who knows? It may be a couple weeks from now, it may be 6 months, it may be a year from now. But I think one of these days we're going to see a very big run in uranium, in my opinion. What other things? I also talk about, I have a video talking about how I think the cannabis sales are for medical and recreational in Canada are going to be around 1.2 to 1.8 billion. And looking at the data so far, you're looking at Cannabis and Aurora doing like the bulk of the sales. They're doing around like 50% of all the cannabis sales probably. And Cannabis did like 60 million last quarter in flower, and that's, I think, even with selling into international. So yeah, I mean, then you're talking about what else? Aurora doing like 100 million, 100 to 160 107 million. So then you're adding up those numbers, that's like 160 million. So I mean, whether it's 40% of the market or 50 or 60%, you know, it's somewhere around that. So then you're talking about like 350, you know, 300 to 350 max per quarter in cannabis sales in Canada. And then your add up at the end of the year, it's probably going to be a little bigger as the companies are growing more cannabis and more stores are opening up. But at the beginning of the year, probably like the first like month or so was pretty busy, but then it kind of like slowed down. And then but now that it's coming up and more companies are growing more and there's more stores, like then the market is going to go to around like 400 to 500 million per quarter in cannabis sales. I just talk about like in the bulk flower kind of because I mean there can be two times, like if the company, they sell to the government and then the government's selling it, well then that's like, it's like 10 plus 10 equals 20. So then it's like, oh, well then the market's like double, but that's not really the amount of sales in cannabis. It's just you're only selling it once. So it's based on like what these companies are kind of getting. So I think the market's, yeah, it's somewhere around that, like 1.2 to 1.8 billion for 2019, and I had that prediction before 2019. Again, yeah, it is kind of a vague number, but again, it's not no pie in the sky number like 5 or 6 billion, or it's not like a 500 million to like 750 million. I think it's a pretty accurate estimation, and for all intents purposes, if I'm in the middle, like I'm in the sweet spot, like 1.5 billion, that's like crushing it in my opinion, like as far as an estimation, because it's like you're saying like 1.2 to 1.8 billion. Like on the low side you're saying 1.2 billion, and then the high side you're saying 1.8 billion. Now if you're talking like then a median, then you're talking about like 1.5 billion, right? So if it ends up being like 1.55 billion, like I'm like, in my opinion, I'm like an ace as far as my estimation goes. But yeah, that's honestly what I think. I'm just going back. Another thing is I looked into, well, Vic was talking about he was like gonna sell 20,000 kilograms every month, and I was saying I don't think that's gonna happen. Like 240,000 kgs in a year times like 4 or 5, you know, that's like 1.2 billion. They're not selling that. They sold around 30 million last quarter in flower. So I mean, in my estimation, I mean, like I was saying somewhere around like 150 million or something like that in flower. Now they are going to do more revenues, and I didn't know about this company CC Pharma, and I didn't know it was going to be a revenue driver, and it's been kind of a wild card, right? Because nobody really knew that Afria was going to make $100 million in distribution in Germany. I mean, if I knew that, then I would have put that, right? But nobody, like, I do a lot of research, and nobody ever talked about that they were gonna do that much revenues from that. So again, like I was saying somewhere, so really like for this year they're probably gonna do somewhere around like 400 million maybe, somewhere around that, like 350 to 450 million. It's gonna vary. Yeah, probably somewhere around 400 to 500 million. But like 70% of those sales are all from CC Pharma. So, and then I talk about like Aurora and Canopy and how much kind of sales they're gonna do. And I mean, there were some people that are thinking that, oh yeah, they're gonna sell $1 billion or they're gonna sell $2 billion, but I never said that, right? So I just want to like, I know I do some wrong estimations and like, and in my opinion on what the future is gonna entail, but like I'm pretty accurate, I think, as far as like without going to these companies' facilities and seeing like talking to the government and getting more like inner knowledge to be able to make this accurate assumptions, like to think that is pretty like, it takes a lot of skill. So I gotta give myself props for that. Again, I'm gonna be wrong on some of these things, but yeah, I just wanted to go on about some of these things. And then I was very wrong on Whalen, based on Whalen, like Ben Ward. I've been wanting him out of the company for the longest time, and I was hoping they would get a really good management. And now it's kind of, who knows what's gonna happen, you know? Cry is gonna take their assets. What are they gonna do with their assets? They're gonna sell it to the highest bidder, probably. Who knows? So, yeah, I mean, I was saying, like, they're supposed to do 100 million, right? And that was based on their distribution relationships, right? So I'm not at their facility. I don't know how much is licensed or whatever. Like, everything that he said was all fucking, you know. So I can only, like, I can't really blame myself. It was just fucking honest mistake, because Whalen fucking shit the bed this year, and no ifs, ands, or buts. But based on like the distribution, they were supposed to do around like 11,000 kgs between the provinces at around like 550, and that was excluding Ontario. So Ontario might have been like another 5,000. So then you add like 15,000 or something at 5.5, then you get up to 80 million. And then they had to deal with Canada Medical for 3,000 kilograms a year. So, and that would be probably like $10 to $15 a gram. So then you add another 30 million. So, I mean, as far, and he even said he thinks that they were going to do 160 million, and then he had to retract that statement, and then they said 38 million, and they're still not going to do 38 million in my estimations, unless, I don't know, that they've been sending a ton of cannabis to Germany and they're making sales, but I don't really think they have been selling that much. So it's probably going to be extremely off, right? And I was like, I picked the wrong horse, right? In my future, I just have to listen to what other people say and more, and just pick the biggest companies in the space, and less into like small to mid caps, because they tend to be more risky. Anyways, that's kind of like what I wanted to summarize as far as things go in some of the estimations and you know, things that I've felt that were gonna happen in 2019. And you know, I'm gonna continually make these videos, and you know, I got some like revenue, what I think companies are going to make, and I'm going to share them. Again, I'm going to be wrong, because I'm never going to be 100% accurate on these things, but I'm going to put them out there so that people know what I think, because a lot of the time I am pretty accurate. So anyways, thanks for watching. Shaka Capiz, I'm on the road. I appreciate it. I know people didn't really like that the bighorn sheep, you know, that kind of stuff, but you know, it's not all about investing. I like to, if I had $10 million, it's not like I would spend every minute talking about investing. I would be interested in going around the world and seeing lots of wildlife, birds and giraffe and hippopotamus, and you know, everything like that. So that's just kind of what I'm about, right? Like, what are you gonna do if you have all this money? You know, you want to enjoy life. That's the basis of it. So anyways, thanks for watching and following my channel, and give me thumbs up and all that support. And until next time, Capiz.